Hello, everyone tuning in. I'm your host, Brandon, and this is the Night's Court. And we have Stephanie, one of our partners. And
My revolution.
and we're going to be talking about the Parkland student that he was questioned by law enforcement on Monday when he posted on Twitter. He was tweeting about him at the gun range with an AR-15. So, what are your thoughts on the whole situation generally?
I think it's just a replay of every dictatorship ever. I feel like a lot of times what they do is they try to, they get you to give up rights for the sake of safety. Whether that safety be to disarm you with guns or the right to harass you for police to come and harass you. It's we're doing this for the sake of the children. I remember I read a quote from one of the cops. They were like, oh, do you not remember what happened here a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago? It's like your point. So you're using that as a way to stop me from practicing my rights of not being questioned by you. So it's all a mind game.
Yeah, and there was the history teacher also commented on it, and he defended the school for what they did.
I feel like it's one of those things where you'll be like, oh, if they don't do it, then what if something happens, and then they blame the police, and then they blame the police when they question. But it's one of those things where none of it would have had to been worried about in the first place if we had armed police officers there to do their job to protect outer threats, not kids in the school. You need to be questioning people from the outside, not the inside, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is that when the shooting happened, these kids, marching for gun control and March for Our Lives, they never blamed the cop that actually didn't do his job.
Exactly. It's because it's a way they want to give government all the plus, all the power. They want to say, no, it's not their problem, it's not them, it's us the people, we're the issue, and they need to make everyone else believe that as well. The police did everything they knew how to do, and then they say, oh, but they're only human, they can only do so much. And I don't know, call me a bad person. Personally, I think police officers should be paid more. Someone that goes out and does shootouts for a living should not be making the same amount of money as an elementary school teacher. They're important too, but I don't know. That's just me. But I feel like maybe if their benefits were a little bit better and they were treated a little bit better, maybe more people would be willing to throw themselves in that line of fire. But, Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, putting these police officers that are 2 years away from retirement, a year away from retirement, they're throwing them into these schools where something ballistic could happen at any moment, because we know kids fight, and I don't know, everyone goes to different schools. In my school that I went to, kids threw desks at each other, and we used to have the cops come in, and it was crazy. We don't need someone in their 50s with, messed up knees trying to come in and fix the issue. I think a system put in place that would be a lot better would be to get these a lot younger cops and kind of rotate the police officers instead of just throwing a police officer in a year in a school for 2 years. What happens is they get really comfortable and they're used to nothing happening. So when something crazy like a shooting happens, they don't know what to do. Believe it or not. They've been so comfortable eating Cheetos in their little office for 2 years that they're like, oh no, that kid's got an AR-15 on him. I'm about to retire in 2 months. I'm not about to die today. I should have died 30 years ago. Because they are human, and that's what's going on. You think that guy was going to run in? He was, I think he was a couple months away from retirement. He was like, no, I'm going home. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like, dude, that was your job. We needed you. You were the only guy there. But I think it would be a lot better to rotate police officers from the streets into the schools so that they're beasts out there and they could come in and they could kind of relax and get their break for the year. Maybe stick them in there for 2 months so they can relax, be with some students, connect with the community, get these kids to fall in love with cops the way people used to be instead of hating them all the time. And giving them that break so that they can go back out and be recharged for more craziness. And if something happens in the school, they're prepared for it. They're not too chill.
I
That's
agree
my
with you, and because like what happens in Broward County, what like what kind of crime is going on there that they
exactly.
have to deal with that. Like someone from Chicago, like a cop from Chicago, they're going to be more alert
Exactly.
and they'll know what to do.
Nothing
But
happens.
but with the kid, he said that they questioned him when he came back from school, and I guess his friends they follow him on Twitter, the students, so they know, and they reported him. And one thing he said was, "I can now check off being wrongfully questioned by law enforcement off my bucket list." That's funny, and he said that the rest of his school year is going to be pretty interesting. Looking forward to it, he says.
Yeah. I mean,
What would you do, like, if you were the parent of that student? Kyle Kashuv is his name, Junior.
honestly, what this is just obviously the kids don't like him. He's put himself in the public light. So this was just a way to harass him. So that the students are probably harassing him already, and they just, it's like me when I was an evil middle schooler and I wanted to mess with the girl. I'd tell on her for some stupid thing that she didn't do so that she gets attention. Like it's childness is what it is. They're on buffoonery and they just want to send this kid to the office, get him in trouble, just mess with his head a little bit because the kids don't like him. The school doesn't like him because we know that schools are run by libtards as well. So this is just their way of trying to annoy the kids and be like, hey, watch out. Don't let your kids say the opposite of what we believe because then they're going to get harassed when they're put in school. That's also, if I was the parent, I know I was bullied growing up, I would be like, forget it, keep doing what you're doing. But I know my mom, I mean, I have an Hispanic mom. Like, we've gone through enough, right? She came to this country, she worked hard. The last thing she's trying to do is get people. She wants to give me the best life possible. So if I was getting bullied, she'd just be like, hey, dude, just be quiet. Like, just don't say anything. Stop putting yourself out there. And that's a way to silence the students, after all, is to scare them into being quiet.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just hate him even more because not that he's just like he's a supporter of the Second Amendment. He's really outspoken about it, and he's been on the news. So
Exactly.
yeah, he's he's not letting up, and he doesn't care. He just
And
doesn't
he's
care.
right, which is so bad. He's so right, and his facts are so on point, and their enemy is facts. So, after all, I mean, it's nothing new. A conservative coming out and saying something pro-rights he got the reaction that I figured he would have gotten. I mean, look at Kanye.
Thank you, Stephanie, for coming on and talking to us about that.
You're welcome.
On Instagram. Tell them where they can find you.
What is it? _my revolution. Because that's what I am, a revolution of freedom.
So give her a follow, guys, on Instagram, and she's one of our partners. She's one of our partners.
And I'm pretty. So follow me.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Bye.